Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to jazz, I think one of the hardest thing is that sometimes you hear it and you know it sounds good, but you're not really sure how to listen to. Like, where are you supposed to focus? The melody, the solo, the drums, the vibe? So in today's video, I want to show you 5 ways to listen to jazz like a professional musician. These are things that jazz players naturally pay attention to, and once you jazz becomes so much more fun and so much easier to understand. So let's get into it. Number 1, listen to one instrument at a time. The first tip is don't try to hear everything all at once. When people are new to jazz, they usually hear the whole band as one big sound, which is totally normal. But a really good way to go deeper is to just choose one instrument and follow that instrument. For example, if you listen to Autumn Leaves by Cannonball Adderley, first just listen to the piano. You can hear Bill Evans playing these beautiful little voicings underneath everything. Then listen again, but this time only follow the bass. That's Paul Chambers, and you can start to hear how much he's doing to hold the whole band together. Then maybe listen one more time and just focus on the drums. That's such a simple trick, but it changes everything. Because instead of hearing jazz as this one big complicated sound, you start hearing individual people making choices. And that's really what jazz is. Number 2, look up who influenced the musician. The second tip is if you like a player, go find out who they were influenced by. This is one of the best ways to get into jazz because jazz has such a strong lineage. For example, if you really like Bill Evans, don't stop there. Go look up interviews, read articles, or watch clips where he talks about music. Then you'll start finding the names of people who influenced him. And once you do that, you can kind of trace the family tree. So maybe you start with Bill Evans and then that leads you to Bud Powell, or maybe you like Herbie Hancock and that opens the door to Miles Davis, Bill Evans, or other players from that world. It makes jazz feels way less random. Because now you're not just listening to one great musician, you're hearing how ideas get passed down, changed that turned into something personal. And honestly, that's one of the coolest things about jazz. Number 3, learn the sidemen too, not just the main artist. The third tip is don't only remember the big name on the album, look at who else is playing. This is huge. Because sometimes beginner will say, oh yeah, I like Miles Davis. But in jazz, the album is never just about one person. For example, if you listen to So What, yes, it's a Miles Davis track, but also look at who's in the band. John Coltrane, Cannonball Adderley, Bill Evans, Paul Chambers, Jimmy Cobb. That's a crazy lineup. So if you hear something you love in that recording, and ask yourself, who is that? Is it the piano sound? Is it the bass? Is it the saxophone? Then go listen to their other records too. This is how people really get into jazz. You start following musicians from album to album, and after a while, you begin to recognize their sound instantly. Like you start thinking, oh, I know that piano sound. Or wait, I think that's the same bassist from the other record. That's when listening gets really fun. Number 4, listen to where the beat sits. The fourth tip is listen to where each musician plays the beat. This is a little more advanced, but it's so important. Not everybody plays exactly in the same spot rhythmically. Some musicians play a little more on top of the beat, some play a little behind it, and that changes the whole feel of the music. For example, if you listen to Bud Powell, the energy can feel really forward, almost like it's pushing. But if you listen to something from Count Basie, it can feel much more laid back and relaxed, even though it's still swinging really hard. You can hear the singers too. Someone like Frank Sinatra can sit behind the beat in such a beautiful way. So when you're listening, don't just ask, is this fast or slow? Ask, does this feel like it's leaning forward or sitting back? And who is making it feel that way? That's a very musician way of listening, because jazz is not just about notes, it's about feel. And number 5, listen to the interaction. And the 5th tip is probably my favorite. Listen to how the musicians are interacting with each other. Jazz is basically a conversation. It's not just one person soloing while everybody else waits politely in the background. The best jazz bands are constantly reacting to each other in real time. For example, if you listen to Bill Evans' trio, especially something like Waltz for Debbie, listen to how the bass and drums respond to the piano. They're not just accompanying him, they're actually talking with him. Or if you listen to Miles Davis' My Funny Valentine, you can hear the whole band shaping the mood together, moment by moment. That's one of the most beautiful parts of jazz. You start hearing little responses, little reactions, little shifts in energy, and suddenly the music feels alive in a totally different way. It doesn't just sound like people playing well, it sounds like people listening to each other. And that's really the heart of jazz. So if you want to start listening to jazz like a pro musician, here are the 5 things. Number 1, listen to one instrument at a time. Number 2, look up who influenced the musician. Number 3, learn the sidemen too. Number 4, listen to where the beat sits. And number 5, listen to the interaction. And if you want some good songs to try this with, I'd recommend Autumn Leaves, So What, Waltz for Debbie, and My Funny Valentine. Try listening to one of those and focus on just one of these 5 ideas. You'll hear way more than you did before. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!